Told you within the last half hour, the Senate voted to block the transfer of Gitmo prisoners to the United States by voting not to spend any money to close that prison. But sparks have been flying on Capitol Hill well ahead of that vote, and whether the U.S. will have to take some of the most dangerous people into the world, Republicans claim it's become a PR disaster for the Obama administration. The administration's part says it shows America leads by example. So how is this all playing out politically? Joining us now for a fair and balanced debate, Richard Goodstein, a former Clinton-Gore campaign advisor. Also with us, Mark Thiessen. He is a former speechwriter for President George W. Bush and former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld. Let me read you the names of the 6 senators who voted against the amendment. Dick Durbin of Illinois, Patrick Leahy of Vermont, Tom Harkin of Iowa, Carl Levin of Michigan, Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island, and Jack Reed of Rhode Island. If you've got the president from Illinois saying that, you know, let's close Gitmo, you've got Dick Durbin from Illinois voting for it, and you got 2 Rhode Island senators voting for it, maybe we should relocate those prisoners in Rhode Island and Illinois. What do you think, Richard?
I think it was not a coincidence that President Obama made one of his first orders of business as president to close Guantanamo. It was a thumb in the eye at our allies. They did not want to associate our struggle with the kind of tactics that were going on there. And incidentally, it's not a coincidence that the Bush administration lost case after case in U.S.
courts about the way they were handling detainees. Now, look, I'll stipulate people do not want jails in their backyard, okay? Nobody does. But here's a question I guess I would ask the other 94 senators. So you've got people who are alleged to be terrorists. Would you rather have them under the watchful eye of federally trained penitentiary guards, or have them consorting God knows where, dreaming up God knows what elsewhere in the world to try to do harm on us? We have terrorists in federal prisons. Moussaoui, the 20th hijacker, the people who blew up the World Trade Center back in '93. So my guess is that this is not the kind of loss that it's being portrayed as today. The president said he's going to close Guantanamo as of next January. It's still May.
Well, you know, coming from Colorado, where the Supermax prison houses people like the Unabomber, you know, I can see that there are safe places to put these people. But, Mark, let me read you a quote from California liberal Senator Dianne Feinstein. She writes, or she said, "This shibboleth of, oh, the Democrats want to put terrorists in your neighborhoods is just a lot of bull. It's a problem because it gets people upset. And yet we have a responsibility. We have to measure up to that responsibility." She didn't vote for the funding.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, this is the decision to close Guantanamo Bay is an absolute debacle for the Obama administration, and there is no way that Obama wins in this debate. If he succeeds in doing what he wants to do, he is forcing the Democrats to vote to bring terrorists, hardened al-Qaeda terrorists, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind of 9/11, 27 al-Qaeda leaders who are in Guantanamo Bay, and bring them into communities in the United States. So that's success for him. Failure is that that the Democrats balk on him, and he has to put off closing Guantanamo Bay. So there's no way he comes out winning. And we're going to be debating this for the next 7 months, because he's handed the Republicans a winning issue on this. And on top of that, this is where we're talking about national security. This is not his strong suit. He's had a series of debacles. First, the CIA memo release, which turned into a firestorm. Now the Gitmo closure, which is putting the Democrats in the hot seat. The reversals on military commissions and on the detainee photos. And we're talking about national security instead of his agenda. So it's been a disaster for him.
This battle is going to go on in the days and weeks ahead. We'll be there to cover it. Mark Thiessen, Richard Goodstein, thank you both.
Thanks, John.
Here's a question for you, John. How much soda do you drink every day?
I don't drink that much. You've broken me of that habit.
A new study says you drink